Previously on Dig Drive DIY. Our old farmhouse was in need of a kitchen remodel. The cabinets were worn and tired, the wife has hated this countertop for 20 years, and oh yeah, there were mice living underneath and occasionally inside these cabinets. So when we were offered some free, gently used custom kitchen cabinets in exchange for just removing them from this soon-to-be remodeled home, we jumped on it. As soon as the new-to-us cabinets were home, we tore out our junky, infested built-in plywood cabinets, re-insulated the wall behind them, hung new sheetrock, and wired it up for under-cabinet lighting. Now we need to refurbish and repaint those second-hand cupboards and make what was old new and fresh again. Plus, Kara got to do the one thing she's been dreaming about for the last 2 decades. So the main thing that those new-to-us cabinets were going to need was a fresh paint job. And on the surface, it doesn't sound like that big of a job, but in order to do it right, there is a lot of prep involved. And I know that what you hear is true. Proper prep work is the key to a good paint job. Now, what you're watching me build right now is an example of time-consuming prep work. One example. But it'll prove to save us tons of time in the long run. And that isn't for a little bit yet, so we'll revisit this contraption later. My wife, Kara, would be the lead on this portion of the project since she is the head painter.
That one almost made me gag.
During the day while the girls were at school, she would begin the process of breaking down the cabinets so that we could do a proper prep job. Now, there's one really interesting aspect of these cabinets that was going to make the prep just a little bit more challenging. These are what are known as distress cabinets. It's been a trendy faux finish for the last 20 years or so that's intended to make them look older than what they really are. Not only would they discolor the paint to make it look worn, but the builders also try to make them look old by purposefully damaging them. There are nicks and dents and dings and cuts all over the face of these doors and drawer fronts from intentional tool damage. Now, this isn't the look that Kara is going for, unfortunately, so it means we're going to have to try to hide as much of this as best we can. And since we already had a big open bucket of drywall mud, we thought, what the heck, we'd attempt to try filling in all those little imperfections with drywall mud. So the prep and painting was going to take a while, weeks most likely. And we didn't feel rushed because we knew it was going to take a while to get our countertop once we ordered it. So today we made a trip to one of the local cabinet makers and we picked out our countertop, and he's going to make a couple of custom doors for us too for another part of the cupboard that we need doors for. But anyway, he told us that in order to order the countertop, we really need to have the cabinets in place in the kitchen, and then they would measure it once the cabinets are in place. So that means we have to get these all ready, done, and painted and installed basically before we can order our countertop. So we just went from thinking we had all kinds of time while we waited on the countertop to get built to need to get them finished sooner than later.
Well, we thought we were waiting for the countertop 5 to 6 weeks, and then he said 3 weeks.
Yeah, they said the countertop will be here in 3 weeks. So all of a sudden this was a project that looked like it might be the next couple months. Well, now it's on us to get done before we can move forward, basically. So we decided to paint the stiles by hand. Oh, and by the way, the stiles are the faces of the cabinet bodies, you know, the parts that you see between the doors and the drawers. So by doing this, we'd get it done quickly and save some paint and masking efforts.
You know, in places, but, you know, not more than 1/8 of an inch.
So obviously the cabinets weren't built for this house. We have them spaced out to where they're pretty close. The first thing we got to do is get the center set, and then once the center is set, the other 2 should just fall in place. The other 4 should just fall in place. So now, for those of you that have ever worked a remodeling project on an old house, you're probably familiar with the trouble that comes when trying to find a square corner, a level floor, or a plumb wall. You just learn to make compromises when you're trying to make something level or plumb in an old farmhouse like this.
Like a pocket on a shirt. We said that it was just a little high in the center when we stretched the string.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
So I would probably take the height of the cabinet at the highest point and maybe add an 1/8 of an inch. Put a nail in the wall, you know, find level with a string and put a nail in at each end, and then you just, you know, put this to the line. There you go. Let me see this.
Floating a little. Get that shimmed up.
It's right on the money.
So that we don't wind up all crazy on it.
Yeah.
Well, we got to show the people that it's legit money. We're on our line.
Do you remember if you saw the girls' desk?
That's unusual.
What is it, beeswax?
Yeah.
Just lubricates the screws a little bit.
Makes a world of difference. Just a little bit. They go in much easier.
Last screw. Drill's reverse.
Oh, shoot.
I got it. It's really solid. Thanks to Rick, the bases were all set as perfectly as they possibly could be, and we were ready to call in the countertop order. So this is a laser that you'll shoot a line on the wall or something?
This will actually draw me a picture.
Draw you a picture. Oh, it's measured.
It's going to measure
Oh,
it. Yeah, this isn't for leveling.
this draws a picture. Oh, wow. So you can 3D render it then? What's...
Well, it won't be 3D, but...
You said you're trying to get it within a 30-second.
Yes.
That's right. So it's not like you have just like this stock of countertop at a certain width. Everything gets cut custom to fit.
Everything's custom fit, yep. And you can say you want a distance, you pick 2 points, and it'll go down to 1/1000th of an inch.
Wow. So this will go, you said, to the designer who will draw it up on AutoCAD, and then it'll go to the CNC operator?
Yeah. She'll take this, which is the exact dimensions with my sketch that I'm going to make, and that'll tell her where to move the lines, like the front. You got to add the 1.5 inch overhang, so she'll see that on my sketch. She'll add it to this. And,
Awesome. Well, that was a pretty positive experience. I'm impressed by Classic Marble and Stone. They did a good job. But the most impressive thing about this whole thing, look at Sam's name. Counterman. Counterman. Pretty awesome. Now, with all that done and ordered, it was time to turn our attention to all those doors and drawer fronts. I got my cousin Mark back over to our place with his paint sprayer. And what started out as me just asking for advice and maybe to borrow his sprayer turned into a full custom paint spraying operation, complete with a highly skilled and experienced painter right at our fingertips. Yeah, lucky for me, Mark didn't leave. All right, we're finally to the point where we're going to start painting. I'm as ready as I need to be. All right. This is just primer. Feel that overspray. I need to get my mask. Is it blowing towards the trailer?
It's kind of
Blowing all over, really. I don't want it on the trailer. With the way the wind's blowing, I don't want it to get orange peely either. I'm afraid there might be too much wind. It's hard to control the when the wind's swirling around.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
You won't get an even, it won't spray even. We can put it in the building and just close the doors to where they're almost completely shut. By 9 a.m. on that very first nice day, the wind was blowing so hard, we knew that we were going to have trouble. It was time to move the operation inside.
I'm thinking set the drying table up in the garage. I mean, it's so breezy through here and there's so much
Yeah, you don't want stuff, when it's in this stage, you don't want stuff falling off.
Right. Well, that's originally what I
Yeah,
wanted to
let's
do.
after that.
Need better ventilation in there.
I think we'll be okay.
We had things in order, and Mark was up and running, but he was going to be making lots of laps around all those cupboard doors while dragging the hose through all the overspray paint on the floor, too. So I went to the shop to finish my little project I had started earlier. I'm just done with this right now.
That's looking good.
Will this work?
I think so. This is the problem you get here.
Problem what?
The floor gets real slick,
Oh,
so
yeah.
you gotta watch that.
You're gonna carry.
Stick it in there. Oh, no, that's. As long as it. Okay.
You turn it?
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, hey, holy cow. Downtown.
Make it easier?
Oh man, that's insane.
We obviously had to change the venue. It's not even 9 o'clock out. Well, it's 11 o'clock now, but by 9 o'clock it was too windy to paint outside. So we moved into the interior paint booth, but I think it's going to work out just fine. I think it looks good. This Lazy Susan type carousel turned out to be one of the biggest time savers of the entire painting operation. The priming went pretty smoothly once we developed our system, but we were only going to be able to paint one side of all the doors and drawers during each painting day session. So that means at least 4 different painting sessions on 4 different days. And most of those days need to be on the weekend for our schedules to align. So if you factor in some quality drying time between each coat of primer and paint, we might have a countertop all set, ready and waiting by the time we get these doors and faces done. So that's primer on the front and back. Now it was time to try some paint. Okay, it's our last and final painting session, we hope. Right, Mark?
You got it.
So I got the good camera out for this one. We can't get paint on this one.
No.
I feel like we've gotten to a point where we can handle the good camera without ruining it. What we've done is we've flipped all of the painted side that's been drying for about 4 days. We put down some old sheets on top of our runners, and right or wrong, we're going to find out how it does. We're going to lay these down on top of the sheet, and then we'll come in and grab these, paint all the tops, and then lay them back down how they are. So they're set up now, staged and ready. We're about to start painting in about 5 minutes. The backs turned out great. There's no reason to think that the fronts aren't going to turn out great.
Should be good.
We're actually working on a weeknight because every other night of the week is booked. So we're going to try to hope to be done while there's still daylight out, and then clean up. We'll move on with the rest of our lives. We'll be able to put it all together once we're done with this. So, all right, here's our last bit of painting. Yeah, and I get the table in my hand.
Good.
I did a good job by asking Mark to do this, didn't I?
Don't jinx us yet.
There's been 3 bugs that have landed while I carried him over, and this one looks like he landed after the fact. Got him.
Yeah, we're about 30% more humid than we were the other day.
Right there.
Yeah, you can see that one.
Yeah, I don't know how many times I was over some of
But
those.
I think as it dries down more, it'll be even less obvious. Everything's painted. Now we got to start cleaning up. 1 hour. Took 1 hour. Our paint booth setup was great, and we had really cut down the cleanup time as well because we were able to paint so quickly. But Mark had mastered his coating technique, and these cabinet doors were looking fantastic. After they all dried, we just couldn't believe how good they looked. It looked factory. For painting these in a barn and then carrying them across the driveway to dry in our garage, we think they turned out fantastic. We couldn't be happier. And it helps when your amateur painter cousin is a perfectionist. So, well, I think you know how much I appreciate it.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
Never an issue.
I want to say something to you because it comes up in a lot of these videos. Some people think that I'm exploiting my friends and family for my own benefit and good. And what do you think about that?
That's baloney. Everybody does stuff for people in the family, so it's a pretty tight-knit family, and everybody borrows stuff from everybody, and
Yeah.
you know,
We all
pretty loving family. So
we all try to help each other out a lot.
Yeah.
So
that's how you got to get by.
his dad is Uncle Kenny. You've probably seen Uncle Kenny in a few of the videos. It was helping me cut wood, and in that big wood cutting video, everybody says you're just taking advantage of your family, making them work for you and all this. And I was like,
They think that's fun.
they do. Our dads, our brothers, they think it's fun. So,
Yeah.
but I wanted it to not be just for me one of these times. So,
Oh yeah. You know, that's how it is.
well, I'll try to return the favor to him one of these days.
We'll get you somehow.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
No problem. Love to do it.
I'm glad for that. Well, that is how we transformed those cabinets. It was a lot of work with the primer, multiple coats, paint. Cousin Mark did a great job shooting them. Our paint booth worked out great. It's all coming together. Now we just have to be patient and let them cure out long enough to where we can put the drawer pulls and door handles on, and then we'll install the hinge hardware and put them back in. That's probably gonna be another week or so. But in the meantime, we got another little exciting development. They're here with the countertops right now as we speak, installing those. It changes the look completely. But I'm gonna wait to show you that on the next video. We'll wrap this all up, get all the doors and everything installed, and hopefully we'll have a finished product for you to review. So I wanna thank you so much for clicking on this video. I hope you liked it. And if I'm lucky, I'll see you in the next one. All right, take care. In the words of Huey Lewis, if this is it, please let you know this is it.
This is it. All right.
Okay, I won't use that.